I don't know what we're looking for yet.
It would be awkward if you got—
Alright, thanks for your help!
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything.
Alright, it's time to put our heads together. We've gotta get our defense ready for the trial. Oh, it's probably gonna be a long and difficult case. There's no point in work.
Quick!
What do we do? The whole situation is so confused. Good plan.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supported. Besides, I doubt Farina.
Thanks, Navia.
Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your
To be honest,
No, we're...
Well now, don't you all look disappointed? That was to be expected, of course. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed.
Since both parties are present, firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we
Yes, of course. I will explain.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus...
Yes, that's correct.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution.
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact,
That is simply your hypothesis.
Oh, is that so?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I...
And you didn't hear anything else?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thought.
Huh?
hey.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a
I was right by the box and
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, lady, of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and Tell me, aren't you and Lynette
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did so.
So the serial disappearances were the
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably...
That's irrelevant. Our identities have...
Indeed. Then perhaps your first priority is to prove yourself... The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord. I suppose... Good thing I made all those preparations.
Hey, Linny. What?
Order! Order! Mr. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Are these claims true? Please answer my question.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're...
I knew it.
Well, that's it.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary?
The defendant deceived...
Order! Your request is reasonable.
So,
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Paimon, we based our entire reasoning on not to set the wrong tone or anything.
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Vatui several times before, but our organization is very, very large.
Right now, we want to save people.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, that's why I didn't wish to flat out lie. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would... Right. So, you be the judge. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. But still, I'm asking...
Sorry.
Well, you both say that, but... Right, let's hear your answer.
Of course. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why, during our investigations, we learned that the machines... From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get... So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached, which should have been impossible, of course, that voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side. On the way back, I saw the broken vase in the After that, the homicide occurred.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course.
That's the only way we can save...
So, there you have it. It was never my wish to proceed, but like I said earlier...
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty... If we want to refute the high... Huh?
Both parties have returned to their position. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating...
That took long enough. Now then, at this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective. Countdown began. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Hall. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which finally he used the vase to knock her out before making her change clothes to prevent other. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard. So Linney proceeded to knock. Afterward, Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic. And there you have it. That's...
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady...
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of a... According to Linney... Seems this won't produce a particular... Seems this won't produce a particularly effective rebuttal. Linney went to... Linney did not take part in the underground altercation.
Detective Paimon, when the countdown started, but he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House space. Once he reached that area, the crime scene had already developed. Finally, he reached the surface. Whew! Paimon did it!
In other words, you believe...
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Carol hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new...
Oh, they have a...
That's right, you tell him!
Oh, well, your denial is very strident. Of course I do. You're saying that he wasn't?
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? Are you sure we don't need to give this... That's right! Linny wasn't... This means that when the crime... The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now been...
Well, to think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Could there have been a... The deceased's name is Cal...
Huh? That can't be right.
Oh, is that...
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator... No one entered or The deceased's name is Cowell. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So... Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. The sound we heard may have come from a... The deceased's name is... It would have been tough for both people to fit in. The sound we heard may have come from a... No one entered or... The deceased's name... The deceased's name is... Halsey's clothing was in the